Welcome to the first ever edition of the Shawn and Dani Off-Campus Housing Podcast. I'm Sean Rapp alongside Danny Banda. We are joined by our two guests, Avery, Quinn, and Katelyn Nicholson.
So happy to be here, Sean. Thank you for having me.
I mean, it's a pleasure getting you to come in here. So why don't we start out by getting a brief intro of our two guests. Avery, what about your name, your year in college, years off campus, and where you live off campus?
My name is Avery Quinn. I am 21 years old. I am a senior, and I am a senior, and I live in Bard townhouses now.
Very nice.
What about you, Kate?
My name's Katelyn Nicholson. I'm a sophomore. This is my first year off campus, and I am living in Brookside Apartments, Brookside, Madison.
Sweet, me too.
It's almost like you guys are roommates or something.
Well, I think there's a story behind that, but I think Danny's going to get into that a little bit later.
Okay, yeah. So
Avery, why don't you start off with you? What made you decide to live off campus compared to staying on campus? Because, there's...
Yeah, Avery, I know you lived a couple places.
That's such a great question. Thank you for asking. Well, I really like the freedom of living off campus. Not to mention, I think the cost is obviously the primary factor, and I think that's the primary factor for probably 90% of the people here. I think there's just a little extra freedom. I mean, a lot of people go to college for freedom, and when you live on campus, then there are mandatory resident meetings, and I kind of enjoyed just having a little bit more of a hands-off experience in terms of my college living. I had to do two different roommate agreements because I had two different roommates while I was on campus, and that was just a hassle because my first roommate, it took about an hour and 15 minutes to do, and then my other roommate, it took about 2 minutes to do because we just put "be cool" on our roommate agreement. So it made me feel like there are some tedious things living on campus that I don't really need to deal with. But honestly, primary, it's just money.
Yeah, I feel that. What about you, Kate? What made you decide?
I'm going to have to agree with Avery on this one. Freedom was a big factor in choosing to live off campus. It's nice to not have a resident assistant or a resident director kind of watching over you 24/7. It's nice to just have that freedom, not have to worry about signing friends in and out when you wanted to visit.
Oh my God, I remember that.
And then there was also just one more thing. I got locked out of my dorm room about 12 times while I was living on campus.
I can totally relate to that.
And I'm pretty sure it was just the responsibility of living off campus that only got me locked out of my room one time.
Oh, wow, just one?
Or just that experience of, carrying keys around with you.
It's a downslide of 11, so you're making progress.
Exactly. And this year, a total of, still one time. But, so I'm never going to have a perfect year.
Hey, I mean, you got one semester left. But,
yeah.
But
Katelyn, how did you choose your roommates?
Well, this year it was a random roommate assignment, and I really lucked out because my roommate's great.
Avery, what about you? How'd you choose your roommates?
Yeah, we'd like to forward that question to you as well.
Oh, that's a great question. Well, my first 2 years, my roommates were just people in the dorm who I thought were cool, and then they continue to be cool. And then this year, I was moving out of my current place, and my buddy Tom and I needed a new place to live. I lived in a house before for the first month of school, and then my buddy Tom was like, well, we have an extra room at Bard. And I go, that's awesome. I need an extra room to live in. And now I'm there. It's awesome. We have a shack stand out in our common area, so it's pretty neat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, I don't know what the shack is, but speaking of Bard.
Shack, like Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal. Oh.
I thought you run a sports show.
Wait, what do you mean you have Shaq there?
It's a standout.
I was
Like
gonna say,
a
'cause I'm
cardboard
pretty
cutout?
sure he
Yeah,
lives in
cardboard
Houston,
cutout.
but
Is he like the real size?
Yeah, I think it might be the real Shaq. He's just very
Shaq,
still.
like, massive?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the shack and Bard, what are some luxuries that you're afforded because of living there?
Having
Well,
Shaq there.
Other than the shack, I mean that's a pretty big one. But
I like the independent cooking area, like in the living room. Unlike on the dorms where it's one in the bottom of the building, I like cooking. Well, not all the time, but when I want to cook, I can cook there, and that's pretty neat.
That's good.
Double beds are huge because I'm kind of a big guy. 6'3".
What's a double bed?
You take a single bed and then
Oh,
double
like a
it.
queen?
Yeah.
Like a full. Oh, gotcha. Wow.
Yeah, most people call that a queen.
Yeah, I don't hear double.
Well, I
but-
call it a double, and I'm pretty sure that's what Bard calls it too.
All right.
And that, that's a little more comfortable for me, and I appreciate that. And yeah, those are some two pretty neat things about living off campus, in my opinion.
Yeah, very much so. And we'll have to check regulation size for bedding, and we can get back to you on that. But
Oh yeah. Hey, Katelyn. If you could do anything you wanted, like to change off campus living in Shippensburg, what would you?
I would probably have to say the parking, because generally speaking, parking in off-campus housing is very limited. There's parking along streets for houses, and in Brookside in particular, for the building that I live in, there's a very small parking lot that fits maybe 20 cars, and I'm pretty sure there's more than 20 residents in my building.
I feel
so
that.
it's fairly inconvenient.
Expand a little bit. I got you. What about you, Avery?
Well, if I could do anything to change off-campus living, what I really liked about the dorms is they had free HBO, and
Oh.
I really that was a big thing, and Bard doesn't, and now I feel a little left out on my premium cable. I want to catch up on Game of Thrones and whatnot. Crashing, another great show on HBO. So yeah, that'd be pretty neat, and also I wish it was a little bit closer to King Street and Richard and some of the more
Richard.
happening spots. Bard's a little
Richard.
out of the way.
Bard is out of the way. Whenever I invite people over and they live at Bard, they're like, oh, no,
Yeah,
it's
it's in another atmosphere.
in another atmosphere.
Yeah.
So wait, I forgot to ask you this, but this is to Kate. What kind of luxuries or amenities are offered at Madison Brookside?
Well, I live in a premium apartment, or Premier.
Premier,
It's
yeah,
called
I think.
Premier. It's very homey. We have stone backsplash and knee walls. Makes it very welcoming. And we also don't pay for laundry, which is incredibly convenient.
I remember when I used to pay for laundry.
Yeah.
Oh, it was ridiculous. Just add it up.
It adds up so fast. It's so nice to be able to throw clothes just in the dryer so that they're warm when you put them on.
Especially in this weather.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect. Clothes, towels, all that kind of stuff.
Just for the context of our listeners, you wash your clothes as well as dry them, right?
Just throw them in the dryer.
Oh, just the dryer.
Yeah,
Okay,
just the dryer.
All right. Sorry, I wanted to add context, but I guess there was none
Do
to
you
add.
guys have free laundry over there?
Yeah, we do. And I was gonna bring something up. We have a buddy named Jake Rom who lives on campus but doesn't do his laundry because he doesn't feel like paying, so he just never washes clothes.
Does he just wait?
He wears
to
it
go
like
home?
4 or 5 times.
I'm
in
sure he
between
probably
washing.
dries his clothes though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just totally
Yeah,
made that up,
probably
but
doesn't.
I hope
Yeah.
he's listening. He's probably playing Fortnite right now, but
Oh gosh. I remember when I had I saved up, I wrote down how much money I spent on laundry when I was a freshman.
I did that
How
too.
much would you?
I forget. I want to say it was in the 40s or 50s. But I also brought my clothes home a lot freshman
see,
year.
that's lucky. See, I always washed my comforters. It was a mess. It was ridiculous.
yeah, I wash my comforter like twice a semester,
Yeah, I don't think I ever washed my comforter freshman year.
but what?
Well, I always got
Do you have
food.
something?
I always got food on my comforter. I was always eating in my bed.
I think Avery is something.
Oh gosh, what's up, Avery?
Oh, I mean, I typically am pretty behind on laundry, so washing bed sheets and comforters, that's an admirable. That's an admirable feat.
Clearly, it's a low priority for you.
Yeah, it is. So, I'm me. I'm comfortable with who I am, so I can sleep in my sheets without having to wash them.
Yeah, I mean, who needs it,
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
There's always that downy stuff you can just spray on your bed if you ever want to.
I don't know what that is, and I don't really feel like looking it up, so I'm probably
no,
not
it's
going to
just,
do that.
It's like an air freshener for your bed
smelly
sheets.
good.
Oh, well, I mean, I like the way I smell. And my bed sheets smell like me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what counts,
This has gotten weird.
Everything is
Well, we are actually out of time today, but Avery,
man,
Katelyn,
really?
we very much so appreciate your time. So make sure to tune in December 4th to Comcast Channel 82, Campus Channel 21 to see our full special edition off-campus housing show on SUTV.